due to heavy rain and
There's a lot you can do in this town. You set it up and turn it around. We might have come from somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
so many ways. I mean, that's why people are fleeing there.
Yeah.
You know, their tax rate and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome to a special edition of the Local Show, guys. We've got a 1-hour special with the man, the myth, the legend. John Oates is back in the house.
Thank you, Eric.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks for including me in the myth department, man. I like being a myth.
Mythical character.
Yeah, I'm a mythical character.
So welcome back.
All right, thanks, man. It's great to be back. Always great to be back.
It's really been fun hanging out here, prepping for the show, which pretty much means shooting the breeze with John Oates and having fun.
I thought we already did the show.
Yeah.
We're not done yet?
Some of the best stuff is actually before the show.
Of course.
But we're going to get to some of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start by saying happy birthday.
Okay, all right, hold on. Hold on.
I didn't prep you for that.
It's not my birthday.
Well, it said in the newspaper article it was recently your birthday.
People have been calling me all day. My birthday's April 7th.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so that was not reported properly in the local newspaper. They thought it was March 7th, I guess.
It's a little I would say that's a little loose end in the journalistic journalism department.
Loosey-goosey journal. Oh, okay, so early happy birthday then.
That's right.
We're only a month off.
Well, I'm a year older than I guess 1 month older than I should be. Is that what I am? I
Sorry we rushed it on you.
That's all right.
But I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. And on that note, all the wisdom you've gathered over these years now, John.
Yes.
Now I'm setting it up here.
Is this where the myth part comes in?
This is where maybe some of you might have to tap into some of the mythical part of your life.
Okay.
But seriously, I want to know like some of the themes as you approach your birthday, since it hasn't happened yet, of when you look back on your life. Maybe a couple of the main lessons learned. That's a pretty heavy question.
It is.
But maybe briefly explain some of the main life lessons that have really helped you out over the last, we will say, some years. I won't say the number of years.
Well, there's a number.
You can say the number if you want.
I'm up there. A number of lessons. You know, if you've lived for 3/4 of a century, which, believe it or not, this birthday is 3/4 of a century, I think. I might be a year younger and I forgot, that happens too when you get that old. You know, it's about, I look at life now like there's no rehearsals. I want to make sure that I milk every second out of every day, and the experiences and the people that I come in contact with, and appreciate the good fortune that me and my family have had, and also try to give back. You know, I mean, I think that's a really important thing. I try to do my best to kind of give back in our way. You know, my wife and I are pretty conscious of that. And the other thing I would say is, in the sage words of the great actor Mickey Rooney.
Love him.
Get a good lawyer.
Get a good lawyer. That can never hurt. It can only help.
He said that. But he's right.
So there's a real life appreciation, a real gratitude, and a gratitude to the point where you want to give back too and recognize the blessings.
Sure, of course.
And things like that. And do you feel like you've identified your special purpose? Like, what's life about? You know, the deep question of life is, what's it all about? You think you've answered that with your career?
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I've known who I am and what I was going to do from the time I've been a very small child.
Yeah.
So there was never a question of what I was going to do. I went to college for journalism and radio, television, film only because it was easy for me, and it gave me a lot of time to play music on the side. No, there was never a question. I felt like I was put here to play music and perform and sing, and that's what I've always done, and I'm still doing it.
What are some of the main things you want people to get out of your music in terms of when they listen to whether it's an old song, a new song, you know, a Christmas song, whatever it is?
Yeah,
What do you hope that they get from that?
You know, I hope they appreciate the dedication that it takes to sustain a career like this for over 50 years of professional career.
It's incredible.
It's not easy, believe me. It's not easy on your heart, your soul, your psyche. It's not easy on your family. Yeah. And so, you know, I feel like I'm a dedicated professional. I have a great respect for professionalism. I like to feel like that's something that, you know, once you're there, I think you should respect that, and you should give people, you know, your best all the time. I try anyway. There's so many things, man. I don't want to sound like the old man in the mountain from the mountain, but I guess I am an old man from the mountain.
You've arrived, my friend. We all are now.
Yeah,
if you're here long enough, you know.
Be careful. You know, when you're hiking in backcountry, you might find me there, perched on a boulder.
Well, that's where I usually see you.
Perched on a boulder, like expounding on the metaphysical aspects
in some meditative posture
right.
or something like
that's
that,
right.
just reflecting. So, do you hope that they feel like a sense of joy or nostalgia or like a natural high, or what do you like?
All those things.
All those things coming out of it.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that I just I was talking about this in an interview actually this morning about, you know, how a song can be embraced by the listener and taken and kind of interpreted through their own lens.
Right.
And I think the best songs are the ones that the writer may have had a different agenda or a different idea about where it came from and what it's about, but it's somehow able, and this is the craftsmanship part, if you do it right, people can hear it and they'll take it into their own experience. Right. And it'll be, in a sense, they say, wow, if I was a songwriter, I could have written that because it's about me or it's about my situation. And when you do that, that's when it connects.
Right.
And, you know, it doesn't always happen. As a songwriter, that's almost like your ultimate goal.
So you're hoping for that connection,
Yeah.
that identifying with
Sure.
the lyrics, the sounds itself, the sound of the music itself.
Yeah, everything.
You know, that there's a kind of a connection there, and then it's by the ears of the beholder, right? It's
Sure.
how they interpret.
That's right.
And then come away with some kind of a feeling.
And hopefully you end up somehow speaking for them in a sense.
Right.
It's, you know, like I said, it's really beautiful, really honest when you can kind of have a kind of a universal theme, try to have a universal theme, but somehow make it personal enough for people to relate to. So it's not so, you know, kind of high blown or kind of esoteric that people can't actually relate to it.
Right. How has your writing changed? You know, through the years. Now you're into a different genre than Hall & Oates. You know, different kinds of music. I'm sure that relates too. But you know, how has that kind of changed when you're talking about like writing from, you know, the heart or your experiences and things like that? Or I'm not sure where you get all your inspirations from, but how is that kind of the writing of the songs evolved?
The motivation to write songs has never really changed. I've always wanted to write songs, and that's what I've always done. I guess it's, in a sense, it's kind of the way it's my own self-therapy. It's how I speak, you know. It's how I get my emotions out.
Right.
But it hasn't really changed, to be honest with you. The actual, you know, it was interesting, like in the early part, obviously, when I started out writing with Daryl Hall, when we would write together, we had a way of writing together.
Kind of a collaboration.
It was a certain style, but it always changed a little bit. It was never kind of fixed. And then, you know, when I started writing with other people, like especially in the late '90s, early 2000s, when I went to Nashville, I was actually a little curious. I was thinking, I wonder how, because I'd never really written with anybody else for years and years and years. So then I was wondering, what collaboration with other people will be like, especially people in country music or whatever, you know, Americana. And interestingly enough, it was almost identical, without saying a word. There was something about songwriters. They have a thing that they do, you know. I mean, first of all, when you're a songwriter, you're creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
You're drawing down some kind of inspiration. Who knows where it comes from? It could be real personal. It could be something you read in a newspaper. It could be anything, right? But then you're translating it through your own brain and perception and putting something out there that's never been there before. It's magical. I mean, I don't want to sound like Drew Barrymore and like hippy dippy, but
well, there's that it sounds like there's kind of a universal process.
It is. It's a universal process.
You're literally taking ideas or experiences, interpreting them like through your lens, and then there's this process that it seems like the songwriters kind of have the same type of a process.
You know, it's always it's always a little.
It's a little different. Yeah,
you know. Some writers are predominantly lyricists.
Okay.
You know, so they're focused on the words.
Okay.
Some writers are predominantly players, you know, instrumentalists, but maybe they're not very good with lyrics or not very good with melodies. So, you know, and then every once in a while you find, you know, someone who's just got the whole package.
Has there ever been someone? I mean, it seems like Daryl was a little bit of let's just say more of a controlling type of a influence.
Well,
are there people like that?
He was definitely more prolific than me.
Yeah.
He wrote more songs than me.
Okay.
He always did. He's just natural flow, you know. And he has a very strong personality. There was no doubt about it. Still to this day, he's a very strong personality.
Right. So there might be people that you've collaborated with that might be a little bit more wanting to be in charge. Like that kind of thing,
you know,
kind of dynamic.
I think about this a lot. It's a very interesting thing to walk into a room, especially with a stranger that you've never met before,
right? And
you try to write something because you don't really know what the dynamic of that collaboration is going to be like. And it's interesting. I think what I've learned, and especially in Nashville, because you do that a lot. You meet people, or you have a lot of respect for someone. You know them, or you know their reputation. You say, "Wow, I'd love to write a song." You get together, and you know, you're two strangers basically. You don't know where that common ground's going to be creatively, right? So you walk into the room and you go. And the first thing I do, and it's a little bit of a kind of almost like an instant psychoanalysis.
Right.
You have to pick out quickly what it is that they want, or what it is that maybe they expect from you,
right,
or what you might expect from them, what they bring to the table. You don't know until you start working, right? It's interesting.
Yeah,
and then you have to adapt to that.
Right, you got to kind of feel it out.
And I know a lot of times, you know, because of my reputation and, well, of course, the Hall & Oates hits, a lot of people expect that from me. And I pick up on that immediately, and I pretty much shut it down as soon as I can, because I don't want to rehash my past, and I don't want to regurgitate, you know, something that, you know, although that's usually what they kind of want. They're like, let's do something like I Can't Go For That, or Maneater, or something. You know.
Right, tapping the well there again.
You know, and I don't mind. I can go there. But you know what? It's always hollow in a sense, because you're trying to recreate something that's already been.
Right.
And unless you're really creative, you know, it's kind of hard to pull that off.
Well, you know, and you use your experiences from the past, you know, to a certain degree, you know, moving forward, whether it's a lot of focus on a certain song, or whether it's just a process or an experience, or, you know, we're always, you know, products of our experiences in life to a degree. But, you know, and today on the show I wanted to, because we've had you on, you know, thankfully during COVID, because of COVID, you were able to come visit us, you know, a couple times in the last few years. And we talked a lot about the past and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to talk more about the present and the future as we kind of move forward. I know you appreciate that too.
Of course.
We might dip back into the past, kind of like a telemarketer dips his knee, you know, a little bit.
I'm familiar with that too.
We might even talk. In fact, let's talk about that right now, because we talked a little bit about this on the last show. When you had kind of transitioned from telemark skiing, dipping the knee, 1,000 lunges, and all that, to cross-country skiing.
Yeah, free your heel, free your mind. I'm still freeing my heel.
You're still freeing your heel, so let's talk about that. You've been here for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, no, you know, when I stopped downhill skiing a number of years ago, I had 2 shoulder reconstructions. I had a little knee issue, and I really didn't want to get hurt anymore. I got tired of physical therapy, and the older you get, the longer it takes to heal, and I just... You know, I didn't feel like getting whacked by a snowboarder from behind, you know, at 30 miles an hour or hitting a tree. So so I started cross-country skiing, and I started skate skiing. And, you know, it wasn't that difficult a transition, to be honest with you. It's a little bit more in the balance and the technique, but I love it. And I can go out there, and it's calm. And, you know, literally yesterday, they groomed North Star. And it was early in the morning. I checked the grooming report, and I said to my wife, I said, I'm going right now because I want to get out there before all the runners and the dogs mess up the beautiful, skate track. So I got out there, and I was like the first one out there, and there was no one there. The birds were singing. It was beautiful, typical bluebird Aspen day, right? And I was out there on my own, and I just skated around a few laps and got my workout in, went home, and it was a beautiful thing.
So are you like me, where you're just kind of like, you get out into these experiences, and whether you're with other people or by yourself, but I think more so when you're by yourself, because it's just, you're more, I guess, perceiving more like the birds and different things around you. Do you just get these moments where you're just like, this is what it's all about?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just like, it all kind of makes sense and comes together in those moments?
I like to think I stopped just to appreciate it, but I'm actually stopped to catch my breath. Maybe a little of both.
With
right?
a third less oxygen, there's a little bit of that too.
Maybe a little, because I'm never
necessity.
I'm never in the kind of shape when I come back to Aspen that I was when I was living here full time. That's a whole different lifestyle. But it's just great, and I do, stopping along the stream, there at North Star. And just looking up at at Jackpot and
Walsh's is right up there too.
So it's cool.
Hopefully you don't look up and see a moose, because there's 14 moose back in North Star now. Literally went from 3 to 14 in like 3 years.
No, I didn't.
Because without the wolf or predator, they just are going to town.
I hear there's
literally.
I think even in the grooming report, the Nordic grooming report, they're talking about a moose family up on. Going toward
Buttermilk,
right on the other side.
There's 3 of them up there now.
Going towards Snowmass, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There was one, and they actually named him Max. And then 2 other moose have joined him since over the last month.
Oh, there you go.
So when you're skiing down maybe Klaus's Way or whoever, keep an eye out for the moose. They can pop right out there.
Cool. Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, buddy, because we've got a lot to get to, including some music and some more stories. Because, it is called Songs and Stories.
Songs and Stories.
And we're going to talk about the Songs and Stories concert coming up this Friday, too. Little tease, guys. But we're going to go to our only break of the show. I do need to thank my winter underwriters, if I can get the words out, for this amazing winter series paralleling the ski season. Get that one? We've got the Aspen Square, City of Aspen, Klug Properties, Haiti Children, Red Brick Center for the Arts, White River Overland, Pitkin County Solid Waste Center, and Sundog Athletics. I think I got them all. We'll take a 2-minute break, guys. We're going to be back with John Oates and live music and stories and so much more. Don't go away.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Pitkin County Landfill.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen Snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland in Aspen specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. More information at whiteriveroverland.com. Providing exceptional service for over 50 years, Aspen Square features studio and larger condominiums for nightly rental with an ideal downtown Aspen location. They offer fully equipped kitchens, wood-burning fireplaces, and private balconies with full hotel-style services and gracious hospitality. Aspen Square is proud to support the local show. The Red Brick Center for the Arts is Aspen's hub for creative activity, offering youth and adult art classes, community rooms for rent, artist studios, nonprofit offices, lectures, events, and rotating exhibitions with artwork for sale. Come by to connect and be inspired. Learn more at redbrickaspen.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialist since 1996, is your opportunity to experience private, all-inclusive snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking instructional adventures that will immediately improve your safety, performance, and enjoyment. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for fresh updates, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Support for the local show comes from the City of Aspen. The Castle Creek Bridge is nearing the end of its lifespan, and the city is proposing an entirely new bridge as a safe and resilient solution. You can learn more about the bridge construction, transportation options, and in-person and online public events at castlecreekbridge.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Okay, wow.
So that's a good story.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us on this special 1-hour edition of The Local Show with John Oates. And we've got John here live in the studio here at GrassRoots TV at the Red Brick Center for the Arts in Aspen. Back in town for a couple weeks. You had a fun show in Telluride down at the Sheridan.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then Vail also had a separate kind of a private show.
Well, that was a corporate private show for American Airlines for cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser.
And then you've got the Wheeler. Let's just
Yes.
talk about that right now.
Oh,
this
man.
Friday.
Well, I'm calling it the third time's a charm show because we've tried this for 2 years. In 21 and 22, both shows were canceled due to COVID. So we're back again.
This is it.
We're going to try it, and I have a feeling it's going to work this time. I'm really excited about it. You know, the Wheeler is, you know, I played all over the world, and everything from the largest of large to the smallest of small. And the Wheeler is a very, very special venue. It's an amazing acoustic venue, especially for the type of show that I'm doing, telling stories and very intimate. There's not a bad seat in the house, you know, the whole bit. And you know, it had a great renovation recently.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful, new sound system. So really excited to come back. And I've got great buddy here from the Valley, John Michel, who is a guy. He's a drummer and a great guitarist and singer as well. And he'll be accompanying me on percussion. And then I'm importing a real guitar slinger from Nashville, a guy named Guthrie Trapp, who is just absolutely out of control. He's an amazing guitar player, and so it's going to be a real acoustic, intimate, you know, evening. You know, it's all about it's organic, no amps, no nothing. Well, I have a little amp, but it's kind of hidden. But you know, it's just it's the kind of show I love doing, and I've been doing it all over the world actually.
So is some of this then spontaneous? I mean, you have some songs that you guys have kind of pre-selected.
It's spontaneous within a framework.
Okay, okay.
I can't give away my professional, you know, secrets, but yeah, you know, there's certain songs I want to play. I focus on playing my new songs, obviously, because I want people to hear them. Every songwriter wants to do that.
Yeah.
But what I like to do is I like to go back and start in the beginning of, you know, when, you know, really I kind of give people a little sense that, you know, pop music didn't start with rock and roll.
Right.
I go back to actually the early days of radio and the phonograph machine, the 1920s. And there were million-selling records in the 1920s. And people, you know, and on a younger generation, I'm sure, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of people in a younger generation probably think that pop and rock started with, you know, it started with rock and roll, but it's not really true. So I kind of go back and I do touch on some of that and give people a little sense of this continuum of music, which it really is.
Right, I know. You're into the music history big
Yeah,
time,
I am.
kind of a music historian.
I'm a self-styled,
Kind of an amateur
self-styled music historian, yes.
Right, but you've talked about the Mississippi Blues
Sure.
and John Hurt. And
Well, you know, America has given the world something incredibly unique and special. American pop music and blues and jazz, which has evolved into rock and roll, is a uniquely American thing. And of all the things, you know, you can say whatever you want about America, right? But there's nothing negative about that.
Right.
And it's changed the world. there's not a country in the world you can go to where there's not American music is everywhere.
Right,
And
right.
and then it's it's translated and transmogrified through various cultures. The English, look what the English have done with American blues. They've turned it into a whole new genre, which is amazing. And the great English musicians and who've played it. And then you can go to Europe, you can go to the Far East, you can go to Africa, you can go to South America, and everyone knows American music. So I like to say it's America's greatest export.
There you go.
Yeah.
Besides French fries.
French fries?
Well, I guess, but I guess they were invented here.
Well, yeah.
There's some things that are, even though they call them French fries, but
And,
some things that are really, truly American.
What about the hamburger?
Isn't
Are we
it
going there?
baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet? I don't know.
Hot dogs are German. They're Wursts.
True, that's sausage.
I just came back from Germany.
We're
so-
claiming hot dogs, though.
Well, you can claim them all you want. But
See, I should know all that. Being a
the
Wisconsin
German-
guy, sausage is like,
you're
a
from
part of our
Wisconsin,
life.
of course.
Yeah.
Cheese and sausage. Yeah.
There you go.
But I think the Germans got a stranglehold on the sausage.
No doubt about it.
That's a very weird thing to say,
and
by the way.
just, what's that?
That's a very weird thing to say, by the way. The Germans have a stranglehold on the
Yeah, you got to be
sausage.
careful, man. This is a
Yeah,
family show.
that's not-
This is like.
That's kind of weird. Okay.
But I will put a nice bow on that. If you ever get to next time you get to Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Yes,
go
yes.
down to historic 3rd Street, which is a bricked-in German area of town, and go to Usinger's Brats. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I have.
You're okay. You're already on that.
Yes.
Those are the best brats I've ever had.
There you
This
go.
is a sausage aficionado
Oh,
from
right,
Milwaukee.
of course.
Sausage, beer, and bowling. We've got that stuff down.
Well, when I used to go to Elkhart Lake up to Wisconsin to race,
We're
when
gonna
I
talk
used to
about
race
that.
cars back in the day, the brats and the roast corn.
Oh, unbelievable. There you go.
That's
It's like your home.
That's summertime for me.
Exactly. Well, we're going to talk about the car racing, but first, we want to hear a song.
You do.
I'm going to let you pick it.
Okay.
Old or new?
Old or new?
We're going to do one kind of old, two new. I thought that might be a nice combination.
Okay. Well, then we'll bookend it. With
I'm just going to let you pick it, though.
All right. Well,
You have total freedom, my friend.
I'll tell you what.
Artistic freedom.
I'd like to play a song that I co-wrote with a local artist, a guy named Joe Henry from Woody Creek, who's my neighbor.
Nice.
And he and I have been neighbors for many, many years, and we've never actually worked together until the pandemic hit. And we ran into each other, I can't remember where it was, at the post office or something. And we just said, hey man, we should try to write a song. And it was a perfect time to get together. He and I played around with a few ideas, and then he came up with this amazing idea. And it had to do with the legendary blues duo Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, who were together for a long, long time, over 40 years. And as time went on, they really disliked each other. Oh. Dislike would be
Putting it lightly.
putting it mildly,
Gently.
yes. And but interestingly enough, one of them went blind, the other lost his ability to walk.
Oh, jeez.
And they actually needed each other to get on stage in the later part of their career. And when he told me that story, I knew about Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, but I didn't know that part of the story. And I thought, wow, what an amazing idea. And so I started playing around with it, and as we began to write the lyrics for it, because he's predominantly a lyricist, I was coming up with the music. I thought to myself, this is an awesome idea, but it's actually a larger idea than just I don't think just telling the story of these two guys would do it justice. It's really more about lending a helping hand, being kind, kind of a universal sense of kind of brotherhood in a sense.
Right.
So
Help a brother out.
So we came up with a tune.
Awesome.
It's called Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee.
I love it. I love it.
I'll be there for you. You'll be there for me. We're all just passing through, yeah. Trying to be the best that we can be. I said a house that's divided is never strong enough to stand. Nothing gets decided by drawing lines in the sand. Talk about getting even, talk about sticks and stones. Philosophers and fools rolling dice with loaded bones. Brother to brother, said Sonny Terry to Brownie McGee. The kindness of the heart is a measure of a man. Stop saying it can't be done, no, no. Try saying yes it can. When you're stumbling through the darkness, reach out and open up the door. Try to bring this world together, yeah. And that's worth striving for. Whoa, yeah. Lying, disbelieving till the truth is gone. Ain't no logic and no reason for this carrying on. Long dark night, gonna wake up to a brighter dawn. Just keep holding on and singing the blues in different keys, and keep on dreaming about what could be. And I'll walk for you if you'll see for me, said Sonny Terry to Brownie McGee. Talk about getting even, talk about sticks and stones, philosophers and fools, rolling dice with loaded bones. Brother, brother, together, but when they're on their own, they're singing the blues in different keys. Together forever now they would be. Said Sonny Terry to Brownie McGee.
Yeah, I love that. Kindness is the way. Helping each other out is the way.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
giving the brother the hand up is
Exactly,
the way.
trying to really take a great idea and expand it into something more universal.
Yeah. I know I catch myself, and I'm trying to work on this too in my own life. Of, you know, you get angry about stuff. You get angry at certain individuals, you know, and there's good cause, you know, sometimes. But I think that if we live more in a kindness mode, more in a gratitude mode, more in a, you know, as kind of cliche, I guess, or corny as that sounds, it's just so much more productive for us because we can move forward with solutions, but it doesn't need to be coming from a motivation of anger. Like, I want to, like, politically, we got an election today. By the way, Tory says hi.
Oh,
I talked to him
Mayor
earlier
Tory,
today.
yes.
And he's up for re-election, so we hope the best for Tory.
Yeah, sure, Tory's fantastic.
So he wanted me to make sure to say hi
Good,
to you.
good.
And,
Yeah.
you know, but I think that, you know, there's things even locally that we've seen that are upsetting, you know, frankly, and in all honesty. And I think the longer you've been here too, the more you kind of can get caught in that angst, you know, of like, oh, this and that and this change and that change. But then I try for me, and I don't know about, maybe you could speak to this, but operating out of more of a positive mode to get positive results, right?
Sure.
Is typically more productive, right, than coming from a point of revenge or, you know, like you say, sticks and stones and, you know, loaded dice. And, you know, it seems like we can come in with different energies, right? And what works for you? Like, what have you found? Because you've had so much success, too, over the years. Is what's the motivation that creates that success, you know, that feeling?
Well, I think, you know, you just have to, well, like you said, you just have to stay positive as best you can in light of a lot of very daunting and very challenging things. You know, everybody has challenges. You just have to figure out how to navigate them and do your best to do what you stay on point with your moral compass.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that it's more attractive. The old honey attracts more than vinegar. You know, it's just more attractive for bringing people along, you know, for the mission or the solution, or say it's politics. You know, you need people behind you usually to create some of these solutions that we need.
Yeah.
So I wanted to shift gears, pun intended, because I wanted to talk about the car racing.
Okay.
You had mentioned Road America.
Yes.
Do you have a story you could share?
I do.
from your car racing days?
I've raced at Road America a number of times, and I love that. It was at one of America's best tracks ever. Very long and really, really challenging. And I had an accident there, which actually ended my racing career.
Jeez.
It was a kind of a wake-up call. I got my bell rung, so to speak. You know, had an accident at a very high-speed corner in the back straightaway, and ended up in an ambulance on my way to the local hospital, waking up and realizing that maybe I ought to focus on strumming my banjo instead of shifting gears. So yeah, that was kind of what the reality kind of set in. But I had raced for about 8 years before that, and really still have so many great friends in the motorsports world around the world, and great. You know, motorsports are you know, whether you like auto racing or not, there's a bunch of great people involved in it. And,
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And these guys are now getting really fit, too. Like they're coming to Aspen to get fit at altitude because they know how that translates to driving.
Yeah. Well, the modern, you know, the modern technology, these modern cars they're a whole other thing, you know. It's not the old days when, you know, you just strap on your helmet and get out there with a pair of golf gloves on.
I mean, it's like a computer screen, isn't it? It's like so high tech now, and then the seats are formed around you.
The young guys are so dead. You know, it's such a professional sport, and it's so high tech. You know, so.
And it seems like the guys have really brought in health and fitness into the mix
They
instead,
have to.
not just the driving skills, but
They have to.
you have to because you're in there, you're sweating, you're working.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot more demanding than
There's
most
no
people
time-
think, right?
There's no timeouts. There's
Right?
no, you know,
Yeah, you're just constantly focused.
yeah, it's
So the mental game.
The level of concentration is crazy.
So was that something too, John, from childhood that you really brought forward? Didn't you have like a GTO in your family or something?
I had this thing about cars when I was a kid. I always liked, the moment I learned to drive, you know, we got my license, I loved to drive, and I always felt that I'd be good at it, and I didn't know, of course. And then when I got a little bit to the point in my career where I had enough wherewithal to give it a shot, I went to some racing schools, and I tried it out, and I ended up being pretty good at it. I had a feeling I might be, but you never know, right? And so I did pretty well, and so I started climbing up the racing ladder. Started with go-karts and into these little formula cars with open wheels, and then sports cars, and so on and so forth. And I still love vintage sports cars. I'm really I've got a cool vintage sports car in Nashville. I drive around on the country roads.
Is that the English car? Is that?
I've got an MG. I've got an old
MG?
59 MGA twin cam, which is a kind of a rare model, and I also have some Porsches as well. And it's my therapy. I get up super early right at the crack of dawn, and I go out on these country roads. No radio, no nothing. I just zone out.
Incredible.
I love it. Yeah.
Do you like to drive at the Woody Creek track?
I have driven at the Woody Creek Tap a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a car here in town that you
No, I got a truck.
can? Well, you got a Jeep, right?
No, I got a truck. I got a pickup.
Okay, you got like an old
Hey,
pickup
listen,
or a new pickup?
A new one.
Okay.
Well, it's actually my son's. Don't tell him I'm driving it. But when you're out here, and live on a dirt road like I do, it's not really conducive for a kind of a nice car.
Right.
It's better to have a truck.
I yearn for an old Willys. Just a Willys with no top.
Yeah.
You might throw a tarp on in the winter.
Yeah.
I've always had a dream about that.
Yeah, that's
So I got to get a 40s, probably 1940s era
Sure,
Willys.
Sure, that's fun.
That would be pretty fun. Yeah. So that's cool. So so that was kind of like waiting to happen? Like you had this music career cranking, for a number of years.
It was in the middle of my.
It was right in the middle of that. You just
Middle of the
started racing
80s.
cars.
And I started in late 70s, and it was a bit of a lull. Daryl and I had a bit of a lull. We weren't, we had a lot of success in the mid 70s, and then we had a little kind of drop off. And it was during that period of time as I started. Okay. And then I started, but then we got into the 80s, and actually, one of the reasons I quit too, in addition to the accident, was it was crazy. I was. The races would start, guys would show up on Thursday and test. Friday they would practice. Saturday they would qualify. The races were normally Sunday, right?
Okay.
I'd be in the recording studio in New York City on Friday.
Oh, geez.
And I'd get on a plane like Friday, night, fly to Ohio, Watkins Glen, Wisconsin, Elkhart Lake, Atlanta, and I'd show up Friday night and I wouldn't even practice. I'd go right into qualifying on Saturday and then race on Sunday, and then fly back to New York on Sunday night, and then go right back in the studio. So I wasn't really giving it a professional effort, and I was getting to the point where I was actually racing in a more professional category. So it wasn't smart. It wasn't a good thing to do. And
so you cut out the training, basically, show up for qualifiers after missing Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I just
showing up for Saturday qualifying.
That's all I could really afford to do, so I did it.
Which makes the results even more impressive, because didn't you get like a 4th place or some top placements?
I did,
even though you were doing it part-time?
I won a few regional and national races when I was in the amateur ranks. And then I got into the professional ranks, and I never won anything in professional, but I did pretty well. I came in 4th at Lime Rock, and a couple other ones I can't remember. But yeah, listen, like I said, I still got a little bit of a lead foot.
You like to go fast.
Yeah, have to be careful.
Yeah, from time to time. So, and Amy doesn't mind if you go out.
She doesn't care for it.
She doesn't care for that.
No.
Yeah, I would imagine
She's a
not.
slow cruiser.
Let's talk about your love of the environment and nature, because we see like the promotional shots for a lot of these concerts coming up, and you're standing in the trees, and you've been a long time, 30-year plus local, and you love the nature and the environment. What would you like to share with our viewers in terms of how can we do better in caring for the environment? What are a couple ideas, or maybe some things that you like to do that show, greater care for the environment? Because we obviously need to do more,
Well, I don't know, but that's kind of an odd segue from motorsports.
I know.
Burning up our fossil fuel supplies.
Right.
But
well, and we all do
we all have a
contradictory
dichotomy.
things. Yeah.
We're all,
It's dichotomy.
Yes.
It's balance,
But,
right? You want to balance it
what?
out.
My wife grew up on a farm in Illinois, and her dad has in addition to soybeans and corn, they have a huge tree farm. They're always planting trees, and so one thing I learned from them was landscaping and trees. And so when we moved to our place here in Woody Creek, the first thing we did was start planting trees, and we planted a lot of trees. And it was amazing to see, it's been over 30 years, and to see how those trees have just gotten so big and amazing.
Awesome.
And last night, I heard an owl. We had an owl family. 2 years ago, we had an owl family with 2 baby owls, and they left. They never came back, and I was really disappointed. Last night, the owl came back. I heard him in the tree. I walked out there at dusk, and there he was, just sitting there. So it was a great horned owl, and just so beautiful to be able to, be part of nature and see it happening around you. We don't have any dogs anymore, so we've got plenty of deer and elk. Messing a lot of stuff up, but still beautiful nevertheless. We used to have llamas and alpacas. We have irrigated fields, and things like that. So, it's just great to preserve our little slice of nature and heaven that we have. And I just encourage people to always, obviously, to do the normal things, recycle and try to be not wasteful. But of course, plant some trees, man. Plant some trees.
I was just going to say, you must be a big tree planting advocate, because there's so many of these programs now that you can, donate or be a part of to plant
Anything
trees
you can
all
do
over the
like
world.
that. Sure.
But they are like...
We need the oxygen.
I know, that's the thing. I've been rallying for them because they obviously don't speak English very well, the trees, but I've been trying to say, we're cutting down thousands of them to open up the top of Aspen Mountain with Pandoras for next year. I was vocally against that. That's no surprise for people who know me, because 3,200 trees are coming out of there. We cut down millions of trees for Christmas, which no one ever talks about. But if you think about it, we're unnecessarily removing trees when trees give us oxygen, like you say, shade, beauty, so much more. Hug one and find out more.
All you have to do is take a hike on a hot day at high altitude and go from bright sun into the trees when the temperature drops by 10 degrees immediately, and you feel so good, and everything, the smells and everything, and you'll know what they're doing.
They are magical, and in Taoism, they revere trees as spiritual beings. There's certain cultures or people in the world that actually revere these as spiritual, holy creatures. You know, whether they can talk or not, well, you know, they believe in contacting a tree at least 30 minutes. You know, I've done a little digging into the Taoism part because I'm becoming the hippie tree lover, hugger I always wanted to be. Just got to get my hair a little longer. I go maybe about to your length by the end of the season.
It's all right.
You know, but you could just, whatever your hair length is, hug a tree or sit at the base of it, have your snack. You know, your power bar or whatever, like the honey stinger waffles, whatever, or a cookie.
Are you slipping in a
There's a couple little
commercial?
sponsors in there, here and there.
Okay.
You know, you could have a little product placement, you know,
That's
honey
fine.
stinger.
There you go.
But, you know, whatever the case may be. But if you sit in contact with the tree, just see what happens. That's all I ask friends to do. It's not just a quick hug, although that's good, but all of a sudden this calm, this seeming wisdom, this peace, it all seems to happen the longer you're with that tree. And you figure those guys are just hanging out, sentinels or guardians, you know, they're just kind of there for us always. So I love that tree part. Like, let's plant some more trees.
Yeah.
Let's take care of the ones we have now and
That's
don't
right.
cut them down needlessly. And fight for them. You know, it is a bit of a fight. You know, because these economic forces right here in our own backyard, a lot of the election today is about that. You know, it's like commodity, community, and also in that conversation is environment. Because if we keep developing in the name of economy, it's harming the environment on so many levels. So I love that. Let's you know, support caring for our trees, planting more trees.
Totally.
Yeah, and maybe I think that sets up maybe a song.
Wow, I don't have a tree song. I wish I
Can
did.
you sing the tree song?
I wish I did.
But there's no natural segue unless you have like a nature song or something related, but I'm going to let you call it.
Well,
maybe
you know,
one of your new
that
songs.
That last song was new, so maybe I'll do an older one.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we might finish off with a new one.
Yeah, like that.
Well, I'll do a song that that had a kind of an unusual evolution. It was the first song I wrote in Nashville, and it was supposed to be on a country album by a band that broke up right after we wrote the song.
Oh, geez.
So I took it back, and at the time, this was the mid-'90s, Daryl and I were not recording or touring that much, but we were making an album called Marigold Sky, which is one of our more obscure albums, but a good album. And I brought that song, the kind of the country-ish version of it, and then he and I reworked it. And it was right about the time that I was getting married in the mid-'90s. And so in my mind, that was my inspiration. That's what I was thinking of. And so so we wrote it. And interestingly enough, when the record came out, Brides Magazine chose this song as Wedding Song of the Year.
Wow, congratulations.
So I was right on the money. So,
I did not know about that accolade. That sounds great.
so I always like to joke about this song. I always say, you know, feel free to use this at your next wedding.
No, seriously.
Don't open your heart, too afraid from the start that a new love's gonna let you down. Well, there's one thing you should know before you give up and go. I don't believe in the runaround. I just wanna define myself and show you how I feel. If a promise ain't enough, then a touch says everything. I wanna hold you in my arms, girl, so you feel what I mean. 'Cause you know that my heart can tell me what to say. Words can only prove so much if a promise ain't enough. Hold on to Does my touch say anything to you? Not afraid to take time. 'Cause girl, you're gonna find I am real when my touch is true. Taking me a lifetime to find myself. So I know, yeah, I know it's gonna last. If a promise ain't enough, then a touch says everything. I wanna hold you in my arms, girl. So you feel what I mean. Cause you know that my heart can tell me what to say. Words can only prove so much. If a promise ain't enough, hold on to my love. Ooh, if a promise ain't enough, hold on to my love. Ooh, promises, promises, promises. Gotta hold on. Gotta hold on. Hold on to my love.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's really well done. Really like that. Amy must have been pretty happy about that song.
Yeah, that got me a couple points.
What are some of the things, you guys have been married how many years now, you and Amy? It's
Close to 30, 20, yeah, 29, 28, 29,
Wow.
29.
What are some of the favorite things you guys like to do together? What are your favorite activities to get together?
You know, she's considerably younger than me, but she's really come into her own. She's very during the pandemic she studied to become a floral designer.
Oh, cool.
And now she delivers flowers to the Vanderbilt nurses at the Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville, and also to the assisted living in Nashville.
Oh, sweet.
And it's part of a little organization called the Petal Project, where they donate flowers, which is really great.
I love that.
And she's become a very business savvy gal, and and we like to travel together. We like, it's just we're very much in sync. So it's a good thing.
Do you have her out on cross country skis yet?
I got her out. She'll do classic every once in a while.
Okay.
Because I had originally, when I started, I had a set of classic setup, and so she'll go out and tootle around a little bit on that in the golf course.
Super fun, super fun. That sounds like such a special relationship, and obviously it's inspired. It's inspiring for you in your life. You can tell.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
cool. We're already down to just a few minutes, buddy, but I want to go through the basics for the show. It's coming Friday.
Yeah.
And what's the date on that? Is it the 10th?
Is March 10th at the Wheeler Opera House, and folks, there are a few tickets left. Not too many. We're getting there. It will be sold out, I'm sure, by Friday. But hey, there's not a bad seat in the house. So even if if you're up in the, I wouldn't even call it nosebleed.
It's not even nosebleed.
No, it's
No,
not
I
even
mean, it's
close.
so intimate. And like you said, the sound is so amazing. The
Yeah,
acoustics
it's a
in there.
fantastic venue, and I'm just really excited to play. It's like a homecoming for me. It really is.
There you go.
Because I've played it so many times, and been just love being back. I'm sure I'll know half the people in the audience. It's going to be a real love fest. I have a feeling.
Real homecoming. Third time's a charm.
There you go.
You're going to get her this
There you
time.
go. Yep.
So I'm going to let you pick the last song, my friend.
Wow.
It could be old, it could be new.
Do we have enough
whatever you-
time?
Yeah. We got enough time. We got
Wow, okay.
2-3 minutes.
I'll play the brand. I just released a single a few weeks ago.
Oh, sweet.
It's called Disconnected, and
Kind of opposite of what we were talking about earlier. Connection.
And I wrote this during the pandemic when I
Okay.
felt disconnected
Okay.
from emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I know a lot of other people were feeling the same way in their own personal versions of it.
No doubt.
So anyway, it's called Disconnected, and I started streaming it. It's available on streaming on all the platforms. It's available wherever records are not sold.
I love it. I love it. You know where to find it.
Think about past, think about love and life. Obsess about the things that went wrong from right. Hindsight should have been plain to see. Thought it never could have happened to you and me. I keep hearing bad love songs. They must be reading my mind. Playing on and on. I just keep hoping that time, yeah, get it out of my head. I said, so disconnected, where did we break down? I thought our love was built on solid ground, yeah, so disconnected, but I keep believing. Once upon a dream, what about the world we had together? Once upon a love that's gonna last forever. Gotta find a way we can put it all back together. Once upon a dream, once upon a love, oh so disconnected. Now you were everything you would have and sent. Now time turned bliss to discontent. Love full of life, or the half of life. Infatuation can hypnotize, but baby, we were young, and we were solid as stone. But now young love is gone. Yeah, we just got to move on. Yeah, gotta learn to move on, I say. So disconnected, where did we break down? I thought our lives were built on solid ground. So disconnected, oh, but I keep believing. Once upon a dream, what about the world we had together? Once upon a love that's gonna last forever. Gotta find a way we can pull it all back together. Once upon a dream, once upon a love, oh so disconnected. I thought our lives were built on solid ground. I said, once upon a dream, what about the world we had together? Once upon a love that's gonna last forever. Gotta find a way we can pull it all back together. Once upon a dream, once upon a love, oh so disconnected. Ooh, disconnected. Once upon a dream, once upon a love, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Disconnected, but here's the thing. We got to connect. There were connections made during COVID.
Well,
you know, even in the disconnected mode,
that's right.
that we were so kind of generally speaking, but we also got to connect, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to connect with a song, with a new song.
That's right. And you know what? At the end of the song, it says, we've got to pull it all back together.
There you go.
Once upon a dream, once upon a love.
There you go. Well, for more, people need to check your book, Change of Seasons.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get that up there. We're going to get that product placed as well.
Still out there on Amazon somewhere.
And what I love about, so we're going to have Songs and Stories this Friday, March 10th at the Wheeler. I think that's a 7:30, correct?
Yeah, 7:30 show.
7:30. And then if you want more stories, what I really liked was I could go in maybe as not a back-to-back, cover-to-cover guy and go, yeah, more racing. And I could pick out the chapters that I really want. Jasper. I can find out why you call yourself Mr. Jasper.
Story about my burro.
I didn't know about that. Yeah, there's one called Chickens, and the Burro, and Aspen Return. So check out Change of Seasons. Great book.
Thank you.
And thank you, John. And
Eric, it's always a pleasure, man. You're the best.
no, you're the best, man. I'm just so lucky to hang out and go along for the ride. And I did bake you cookies, a small token of appreciation.
You know what? It's so funny. I get paid by cookies from you, and when I play Steve's guitars in Carbondale, I get paid with cookies from Mary.
What?
So
really?
It's a beautiful thing. I'm all in on the cookies.
You got. It's a program. There's a system going on there with
That's
the cookies.
All right, I'll take it.
Well, there's a few other local goodies in there for you. These are from our friends at Aspen Emporium and Flying Circus.
Excellent.
Shay recently sold the business.
Okay.
And there's a couple lovely local ladies that own that now. That's
Fantastic.
right across from the Hotel Jerome. Really neat local crafts, local goods.
Excellent.
There might even be local eggs.
Oh.
Because I wasn't sure if you still had chickens.
No,
I don't think you probably can, right?
We don't, but I'll take the fresh eggs anytime.
Did you have fun on the show today, buddy?
Yeah, it was awesome. You always make it so smooth, man.
Well, you make it so easy and relaxed and fun and inspirational, and
I love it.
And
well, let's go, man. I'm gonna get home.
Okay, well we're gonna
get a cup of coffee.
We're gonna have to wrap then, guys, because we
cookies. Let's go.
We gotta get to the cookies. So thank you again, John Oates, and thank you guys above all for watching this week, a special edition of the Local Show. Yeah, good job, man.
Good one.
Yeah, brother.